Is there any better way to wake up than this? Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Woodcraft. Today I want to talk to you about one of my all-time favorite activities, just sleep. As a parent of 4 children, there's little else on earth that I appreciate more than a good night's sleep. With that being said, one of the best ways for me to get any sleep is to sleep in a hammock. But in the winter times, as a lot of you guys know, in the wintertime, sleeping in a hammock can be a rather chilly prospect or rather irritating. The age-old standard for staying warm in wintertime as far as hammock camping goes is one of these things. It's just a little $5 foam sleeping pad from Walmart. Well, today, actually about a month and a half ago, I was able to say goodbye to this irritating thing for good. Getting in a hammock and a sleeping bag at the same time, there's absolutely no way that can be done gracefully. Add that to the mix and it is almost impossible. By the time you get comfortable in the hammock, you're so awake that you can't go to sleep, at least for a few minutes. At least that's me. And unfortunately, I don't get to go hammock camping nearly as often as I would like to. With that being the case, the underquilts that have been on the market for years, they've been expensive enough that I've looked at those and gone, you know what, it's just not worth the expense. Well, at least for me, OneTigris to the rescue. They have come up with an affordable 3-season underquilt for hammock camping that has fit the bill as far as getting rid of that annoying sleep pad and making my hammock toasty warm in the fall, winter, and spring. In the summertime around here, you're not going to need it. Now, I will say that if you're somewhere up north, Minnesota, even Virginia, Kentucky, where winters are a lot more severe than they are here, then you're probably going to want to upgrade to something a little bit more hefty as far as insulation factor goes. But here in Western North Carolina, where our winters are usually pretty mild, for the most part we're looking at 25 to 45 degree winters. So this underquilt being rated 40 to 60 or maybe 70 degrees, it fits that bill perfectly, especially when you pair it with a similar rated sleeping bag. In the interest of transparency, this video has been taken over the course of several different outings. Had a lot go wrong on each and every single one of them. So instead of trying again, what I'm doing is I'm just pairing them all together to make hopefully a cohesive video. With that being said, thank you very much to OneTigris for sending this out for me to try out, test out, and show off to you guys if I felt like it was something that was worth my time and your guys' time, which I definitely do. All right, folks, well, I've been laying here for probably 15 minutes or so. Give you guys a quick tour. Here's a quick look of what we got here. Turn my headlamp on so you guys can see better. Attached to a nice little cedar tree, which you guys are probably used to seeing. So I do have to say, as far as the OneTigris so far, the proof will be in the pudding in the morning. Actually, let me go ahead and show you. In your upper right hand corner, if that shows, about 35 degrees out here, something like that. Well, anyway, folks, I am going to read my book for a little while and I will see you and update you in the morning. But guys, if you slept half as good as I did, and you slept awesome. So this combination of mangrove bag and the underquilt from OneTigris works fantastically. So it got down to about 28 degrees last night, so a bit chillier than what I thought, but yeah, it worked great. But anyway, instead of you looking at my very sleepy face, I'm gonna rustle up some coffee and we can talk more about it. Now, I have found that I prefer having only one side to be elastic, so that way I can fine-tune exactly how tight the underquilt is on my hammock. Because as I will show you here in just a second, this thing works great, but if it gets a little windy, now it's tight enough even with the elastic, it has to get really, really nasty windy, but if the wind hits the end of this just right in the middle of the night, it will blow out all the semi-warm air that is trapped between your hammock and your underquilt, and it will get you cold just like that. Now you'll heat back up pretty quickly, and the wind does have to hit it just right, but still, if you use just a simple piece of bank line or something to go ahead and just lightly tie it, you don't have to get too crazy. I just do a regular bow knot like you'd tie your shoes with, because it's not weight bearing, it's not going to go anywhere. And that way it keeps this end really snug, and then that gives you the elastic on the other end, so as your weight moves around to give it that stretch so you don't damage something. As you can see, the elastic band is looped up here, so it's not going to go too terribly far down here. What that does is it gives the underquilt some springiness so your weight doesn't say, rip something out or something like that. Just to point out, I do place my feet on the side with the elastic just so it's the lightest part of my body. I have no scientific method or reason of why I do it this way, aside from the fact I just find it to be a bit more comfortable. As you can see, that elastic stretches with you. That was a mistake. They designed this around the Eno, I believe, and this hammock I think is just a hair longer. Either way, it works just fine. But the reason I like to tie this off on the head side is so that the underquilt doesn't stretch down lower than my head no matter how I move around as I'm sleeping in the middle of the night. Well, folks, I hope I was able to make this video, even though it was split up over several trips, cohesive enough for you guys to get an accurate picture of just the quality behind and the design behind this OneTigris underquilt. For the longest time, I always looked at underquilts as something that cost even more so than the hammock, or the money that I invested in a hammock. And it just didn't make sense for an environment like mine, where I could, go ahead and put up with the inconvenience of trying to get situated in the hammock with one of those foam sleeping pads from Walmart or wherever you choose to get one. But with this, the price point is $41 and change. Now, like I did change up how it's set up a little bit. It does come with an elastic band on either side from the factory, just to allow the underquilt to kind of stretch and move with your hammock. But I did change it up to where that is just on one side, and I keep the other side tied off and hard, so to speak, so that way it stays just a little bit more snug. I'm not saying that that's a problem by any means. That's just how I prefer it. So you guys, if you choose to buy one, you play with it, figure out how you like it. That is not a critique in any way, shape, or form. That's just how I prefer to do it. Anyway, enough rambling. Like I said, the price point on this is $41 and change. I will leave all the relevant links in the description below. If you are in an environment that is a bit colder than where I am in Western North Carolina, OneTigris does actually make a heftier underquilt that is designed specifically for colder winter temps than what I have here. I will leave the link in that description as well. If it is built even half as well as this one is, I'm sure it is well worth the money. Anyway, gang, thank you very much for being here today. I hope this video was informative for you. I hope it has helped you make a wise decision about whether this was a product that would suit you or not. If you did find it helpful, would you do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button for me? I would appreciate that very much. And folks, if you enjoy videos such as this and you're not a subscriber yet, I invite you to become so by making use of that red subscribe button down below. And as always, folks, hit up that comment section. Let's talk about this. Anything else you'd like to talk about. Anyway, thanks again for being here, and I will see you next time. You guys have a great day.